Hello, my name is Albert James. I'm elder. I come from a small community called McDowell Lake. I was raised and lived in McDowell Lake for most of my life. I grew up there, and I did go to a residential school too at Poplar Hill. So I've had some of those experiences what people talk about. Not as bad as some of them, but I did have some negative experiences. But that's not what we want to talk about. I'd like to talk about us as people, that we want, how we want us to be like a good people, good citizens of our communities. And I think the main important thing is to remember where we came from. God created us to be people. He put us on this earth to live, to use the things that God gave us to use. And I think it's important that we respect and honor where we came from. As I was growing up, my elders and my grandfather and other elders and my dad taught me a lot. And it seemed like the foundation of what they taught me was based on how God wants us to live. This doesn't mean that we want to be 100%. So we won't have no problems or troubles. I am 68 years old now, and I have to be honest that I haven't been 100% trouble-free. But the idea here is that when we know where we come from, that God created us, we have a place to go when we have problems. The teachings of our elders about God, that's where we get our strength from. And we need not to forget that. That's the important thing. And I just want to share another important thing. What I heard another elder from North Spirit one time, when I was a chief, when things were just beginning to rise up in our communities, drugs and all kind of those evil things that happen. And he gave an illustration. I really liked his illustration. He said, when you buy an appliance or a motor or any kind of a machinery, when you buy it, the thing that you buy comes along with an instruction book. This instruction book tells you how to take care of whatever you bought. It tells you what happens if you do this, and it tells you if you misuse it, it's going to create some problems if you don't follow the book, the instructions on how to take care of whatever you bought. And then he said, it's the same thing with God, he said, with our lives. When he created us, when he put us on earth, he sent his instruction book along, the Bible. We need to read the instruction book. It shows us how to live. It shows us what to be careful of. And then that teaching, when I heard that elder say it, it touched me. And I believe that's what our elders have been teaching us, is that we have to remember where we come from and to respect and honor of who we are and who God is. Like I say, it doesn't mean that we're going to be 100% trouble-free. We'll face problems. But we need to know where we're going to look to get help. And I believe that's what our elders were teaching me too, that we have a God that can help us work through our problems. And sometimes we make wrong decisions. I made wrong decisions too. But when you go back to the teachings of our elders, of what not to forget, those things helped us. Even when my dad, before he died, I'd say about 3 weeks before he died, I was ready to go up to our lake to guide moose hunters. The last thing he said to me was, that's what he told me, don't forget God. Don't forget Him. Don't forget His teachings. Don't forget the things that we taught you guys. And I'll always remember that. I try to pass that on to my children. And I think we have the greatest things in life that we can be proud of who we are, First Nations people. We live in a great environment, and I think we need to remember that's a gift that God gave us for us to live. It's a beautiful country. I was back at my lake a couple weeks ago, and when the leaves started to change color, it was very beautiful. And like I said, I grew up in McDowell Lake. Our elders, especially I spent a lot of time with my grandfather. He taught me a lot of things about how to hunt, how to trap. And it wasn't like in today where you sit down and open the textbook and shows you how to trap. It was hands-on teaching. You watched, they told you, watch what we do. You watch what we do. And that's what I did. I watched them how they set up their traps, how they set their nets, how they hunted. And one thing they used to say too is, but you can make it better. If you see things that, how you could make things better, go ahead and do how you could make things better. How to set a trap better maybe, and how to set your net, how to hunt. And those are the things that I hold as a treasure of the way they taught us. And I am trying to pass that on to my children. Like I said, trapping was a way of life when I grew up. Commercial fishing was a way of life. Hunting was a way of life. I have 4 children, and I had the opportunity of taking all my children out hunting. There were times we got a moose and they had an experience of cleaning a moose and loading it on a boat and things like that. And even like for instance, one time I was with one of my youngest daughters. We shot a moose, and it was along a sand beach, and I didn't want to butcher the moose on the sand, so I just cut it in half, and I told her, well, you're going to have to help me load the moose. And then she did. So she had an experience of how it is when you kill like a moose or wild game. And also I had experience of taking them out on a boat when we were commercial fishing in the summertime. and also commercial fishing through the ice, setting nets under the ice, and we camped out beside a lake in March when it was still cold and snowy. So they had those experiences, and I know they enjoyed it. And that's what I am hoping that we don't lose these way of life altogether. I know it's not the same the way it was a long time ago, just because of the prices of everything, and also like the trapping is not as, like those animal activists have pretty well destroyed the trapping. But I think it's important that we still remember these things, because that was the way of life of our elders. That's how they survived. And I think we need to know these things. That way we know how to survive when we're on our homeland, when we're out in the wilderness. But the most important thing, what they always said was, like, the foundation of all these things is that we don't forget where we came from. That God was our creator. He put us on this earth. And just to continue to do a lot of these things, how to survive, I think is very important. I mean, for me, I treasure these times when I was growing up, living in a tent in the springtime or in the fall or even in the wintertime, sharing the trap line with my dad and with my grandfather and the other elders. I'll always treasure these. And I'm glad that I was able to have my children experience a lot of these way of life. And hopefully that they can pass it on to their children. Even though, like I said, it's not like the way it was in my days. Things are different nowadays. But the important thing is that we don't forget some of the teachings that our elders taught us. And the other things too is that, the teachings of the medicines that are out there, and like I say again, I do treasure these things. And I hope some of the things that I've talked about will help you young people to think about and to pick out the things that really help you. Not everything may not help you, but to pick out the things that will help you in your life. I believe we will survive, we will continue to live. And I just want to thank you for giving me the opportunity to share what I experienced and what I feel is important, and also what has helped me in my own life. So thank you, and I'll say God bless everybody. Thank you.